Hey guys, it's me Kitty Heart 011 here, and today I'm going to be doing a video all about gerbil bedding. So even though pet stores sell a large variety of bedding that is safe for your gerbils, they do also stock beddings that are really harmful for your gerbils or hamsters and that you should never use. Those kinds of bedding include pine and cedar wood shavings. Those are probably the worst things you can buy for your gerbils. I'll insert a picture here. So these types of bedding contain a type of oil that is naturally grown in the trees, and those oils can harm your gerbils or hamsters, and also it can cause respiratory problems. So this is a type of wood-based bedding that is perfectly safe for your gerbils or hamsters, and this is aspen. So aspen does not contain that dangerous oil, and also it's really soft depending on what kind you buy, and it's also really cheap. I got I don't even know how many liters, but it was a huge bag of aspen at PetSmart for about $13. But with gerbils, I noticed that when you have wood shavings, their noses tend to get kind of sore, and they can also get bloody noses. So I decided to switch my main type of substrate, and I'll show you guys that next. So this is paper-based bedding, and I have Boxo Comfort, which looks like this, and then I have Natural Critter Care that looks like this. So both of these are kind of like an off-brand of Carefresh, but they are perfectly safe for gerbils and hamsters. They're really soft, and I noticed that they're also really good at stabilizing gerbil tunnels, because with the wood shavings, the tunnels wouldn't really hold, but with the paper-based bedding, it's really soft, and you can like mold it into what you want, and it stays its shape. Sorry, it's like getting everywhere. But there's a slight difference between Boxo and Critter Care, my bad. You can't really notice it, but Boxo is more flaky, and then Critter Care is more like larger chunks. But both of them work together, mixed together. And Carefresh is one of the best brands that you can get for your gerbils, but I noticed that it was pretty expensive. So I got this large 51-liter bag for $10 at Bulk Barn, and then I got this 30-liter bag also for $10 at my local Walmart. So these are perfectly safe bedding for gerbils, and also it tends to not make their noses as sore as it would be opposed to using wood shavings. So I tend to prefer a mixture of different beddings. I don't like using Boxo bedding by itself, because I feel like that doesn't really hold their tunnels a lot. So I do like to add lots of things. So I also add some of the aspen. I don't like to add too much because I don't want it to hurt their noses, obviously, but I do add about a handful or two. But there is something that I like to add as well. So this is what I like to add to my bedding. This is homemade bedding out of toilet paper, and it's really soft. And it's a little bit, it's damp still because I just made it, but as you can tell, it looks really soft, and this is actually softer than the paper-based bedding. And I like to mix in a few handfuls, like pretty large handfuls of this, because this is a lot softer and it does hold its shape a lot better, as you can see. So it's a lot easier for making tunnels for the gerbils. I'm probably going to do a video on how to make this, but it's really cheap, and as you can see, it's really soft, and it looks just like Carefresh. So another thing that is really important for any gerbil owner to for any gerbil owner to have is hay. It doesn't necessarily matter what type of hay it is. I just have the KT Natural Timothy hay, and because this helps stabilize their tunnels, and also they can chew on it, and they like to make nests out of it. And it's really important that you have a nice fresh hay. I can already smell the hay, which is good. I like the smell of it. But the gerbils really like this as well. They will chew it up, they'll eat it, and also they'll bring it into their nest. And without hay, the tunnels, they will stay up, but if they walk over it or something like that, they'll just fall over. But with the hay, it helps keep the tunnels stable, and helps keep the bedding from falling and caving in. So these types of bedding are completely optional. My tunnels are perfectly fine without these, but I like to add it in just to give a little bit of variety for the gerbils. So this is just cardboard that I cut up, so it's just like homemade cardboard bedding that people can purchase in the UK. I think it's called Finacard or EcoBed. So this is like the same thing, and my gerbils love to chew it up and bring it into their nests. And this is corncob bedding. This stuff is really heavy, and I got this 615 cubic inch bag for only $5. And with this bedding, because it's heavy, this bedding kind of stays at the bottom, which is what I like to have in the tunnel, so they dig, and at the bottom substrate would be this, and it absorbs pee really well. But the one thing is that my gerbils tend to like to give it a small nibble every once in a while. If they find a piece of it, they might chew it up a little bit, but it's perfectly safe. My gerbils haven't shown any signs of any sickness from chewing on this bedding, and a lot of people have kind of mixed opinions on this, but I personally enjoy it. So now I'm going to be talking about nesting materials for gerbils. So there are tons and tons of different kind of nesting materials that you can buy at like PetSmart or any kind of pet store, but there is something that they sell that you should never buy for your gerbils or hamsters, and that is cotton bedding or anything that looks like fluff. And in the stores they usually call it, it's usually labeled hamster fluff, and it just looks really soft, and you think to yourself, oh, my hamster would love this, it's so soft and cozy. But the thing is that with this type of bedding, their limbs and claws and stuff can get stuck in it, and for a gerbil, if they pouch it and they accidentally swallow it, then they can't digest it, and also sometimes it can get stuck around their cheek area and with their teeth. So I'll insert a picture of it here. So these are two of my favorite nesting materials, and the first one is just plain unscented toilet paper. This is perfectly safe for your gerbils. It's really soft, and also if they accidentally swallow a little bit, they can easily digest it. And then this right here, this is just tissue paper like that you wrap presents with, and it is colored, but my gerbils, they don't chew it, they just like to bring it into their nest, and it makes a really nice soft kind of material, and it's not too heavy so it doesn't get too hot because it's summertime, and it's also really lightweight. So to basically sum up this video, never use pine or cedar bedding for your gerbils. It's also really good to use any kind of paper-based bedding. Never use any kind of cotton or fluff bedding for your gerbils, and also just make sure you have a nice variety of bedding. It gets really boring if you just have paper-based bedding and that's it. That's why I like to add hay and nesting material. So that's all for this video. I hope it's not too long for you guys, but this is actually like the first kind of gerbil care video I did, and I'm probably gonna make it into a series and whatnot. So I'll see you guys in the next video. So comment, rate, and subscribe. Bye! There is one kind of nesting material that you shouldn't use for gerbils or hamsters.